All right, guys, we are live. It's episode 201 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and a Merry Christmas. A great show here with a great guest here. Here's Jennifer Seymour. What's going on, guys?
Hey, everybody.
Heath Clevenger's also joining us. What's going on, Heath?
Just getting over the Christmas hangover, I guess, from all the food.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, that was plenty. Also, President of Honor Defense here, Gary's joining us. What's going on, Gary?
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to talk to you. We haven't had, we just got you in probably 10 minutes before the show, in the pre-show here. So we usually have a little bit more time to talk to the guest, but we got you here live. Perfect timing. No technical difficulties like we did last 2 weeks ago here because we had a guest cancel last week here. Do you want to get the show sponsors out here? The folks over at Tactical Shit, all right? At shop.tacticalshit.com. Come out for all your firearms needs, apparel needs. They got it all over there. We got a discount code coming from them later on in the show. Also, the shootersmindset.com. If you're watching this show on the website, we appreciate you heading over there and watching it. We also have our shop over there where you can buy some gear, some clothes. Our blogs I'm really liking those. Some great writers posting over there at theshootersmindset.com. Check that out. What else we got here? That's going to do it. Question and answers. If you have any questions throughout the show, you want to submit those on Facebook. There's a post that just went up. That section, Jen will pull those. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, in the top right-hand corner, you can post your questions live here for Gary throughout the day. We're going to jump in here, just jump right into it. If you could tell us a little bit more about yourself for those who aren't familiar with you, Honor Defense.
Sure. Well, just a little bit about me. I probably have the oldest NRA membership card of anybody you know. My first one was 1972. I was a competitor back in the 70s in high school, also at Penn State. And I don't know, something led me to Miami, Florida. I hung up the gun, stopped shooting and competing, and moved down there to become a Hurricane. So, hope springs eternal for my Hurricanes every year, but we seem to fall short. After that, long career in corporate life, et cetera. And one day I met the guys from the Olympic team. And at a shooting event in SHOT Show, I've been working for Tasco. And we started talking. Next thing I know, the USA shooting team asked me to join them to help them with some marketing. So I did that. And my wife reminded me that you can't be a shooting bum the rest of your life. Because as you three probably know, there's no money in it. You can't just run around and compete and shoot. It's a great way to go broke. So I had to go back to work. And one day a friend of mine said, "Hey, do you know anyone with a background like ours that's comfortable with firearms?" And I said, "Well, maybe. Why?" And he said, "Well, there's a company called Beretta looking for somebody that won't show up in a camo suit." And I said, "Well, you're not going to believe this, but I think I know somebody." And next thing I knew, I was talking with some folks and then talking to Franco Beretta. And a couple of weeks later, I was in Italy talking to Ugo, and I was offered the job. And what a fabulous company. What a great brand. And just absolutely loved working there. So that was great. Worked there for just shy of 4 years and had an idea for a handgun company. What if you took an AR approach to handguns and worked with the best parts suppliers? Could you build a fabulous handgun line? And so, of course, first thing you got to do is design it and get into all that. So wrote a business plan and started hunting for companies to invest in it. Found someone and hired engineers, got underway, and we've been shipping now since January 2016. So we're not even 2 years old yet.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of hurdles for a new gun company. I'm sure we're going to talk about that throughout the show there too. So Honor Defense, tell us a little bit more about that company, where you're located, what's the details on that?
Yeah, we're in Gainesville, Georgia, which is a sleepy little town. If there's any Army Rangers out there, we're right near Camp Merrill, Dahlonega area, Lake Lanier area, right by the Olympic Rowing Center. Just a sleepy little town, famous for being the chicken capital of the world because we process a lot of chickens. And other than that, that's really about it. It's just a sleepy little town in the foothills of the mountains of North Georgia, and that's where we're based. And we like it. It's very quiet, very sleepy. Would you agree, Jennifer? I mean, not much going on there.
Not a whole lot.
We like it that way. We like it that way.
There is a really cool farm, though, near y'all that we could not find coming home that has like all these old cars, old fire trucks, old police cars. I'm going to go back and find it one day.
Well, you've got me intrigued about it. I'm going to try and find it too because I'm addicted to old cars and junk. So I'll look as well.
How close are you to the carpet capital of the world?
Oh, Dalton?
Yeah.
Yeah, about, you know what, not far as the crow flies, but we've got to head down south, go around the perimeter, around 285, and then back up 75. So it's about 2 hours by car, but we could probably drive it or fly it much faster.
Oh, yeah.
If I had wings.
I've been there one time, and there is no good way to get there from where I live. I know that.
And one time was probably plenty.
Yep. Once was enough.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Oh, I'll bet. So for honor defense, for us, you know, we really live by a couple of basic principles. Our goal was we set out to make the best single stack nines in the country. I mean, that's our design goal. Two other principles that we have. One is all parts, all materials have to come from America. Nothing comes from outside the country. And I know that sounds easy. You'd think, well, how hard is that? Well, the way American manufacturing, the industrial base has gone, that's started to really go away. I think there's only 3 or 4 mills now that still make stainless steel in America. So it's not as easy as you might think. And our government defines domestic as a DFAR material, which can come from, I think it's 13 countries now. You know, Egypt, Turkey, among, you know, the handful of them. So a lot of part suppliers will try and move it to domestic. And, you know, some of the gun companies will look at you with a tear in their eye and they'll say, we buy everything in America. Well, yeah, but, you know, they're using a supplier who outsources it to South Korea. There's one in Atlanta. Or they'll have a part MIMT and have it outsourced to India. But they're buying it from the USA subsidiary. And they'll call that buying American. And we don't. We don't. It's got to be American-owned company, American materials, made in America by American craftsmen. So that's the other rule. And then the final one is every gun's assembled by a veteran. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a rule. I've been accused of being biased. Yes, we are. So we flex up and down depending on demand. And it's just our rule to work in the back, work on the guns, assemble them, test fire them. You've got to be a veteran. And that's just the way it is.
There you go. I mean, in your flagship pistol, I mean, I've only played with one actually at SHOT Show, to be honest with you. But man, that might have been like one of the first versions. I think it looks a heck of a lot better now. The grip has changed. You get loaded with features for the price point of this gun, and that's the Honor Guard pistol. And I mean, you got a few different variants of that pistol. I mean, price point is excellent. I just want to talk, if you could walk me through that pistol, and if there's a lot of aftermarket support for that gun right now.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we started with a little bit different level set. Instead of us sitting around talking about what we liked and building things into the firearm that we thought would be cool, we went and talked to people that are instructors or carried a gun for a living. So we got connected to Command Master Chief Britt Slabinski from DevGru, Nick Fleischman from Fresno PD, and also the Army, Juliana Crowder, who started A Girl and a Gun, and Mike Nussbaum, who was the ASAC for the DEA out of Miami. And we sat down with each of them and said, what's important in a firearm? What are the challenges you see? What are things that can be done to be improved on single stacks? You know, and I'll tell you, it was interesting because a lot of these guys love the shield. The shield is kind of the bar that's been set in single stack. It's a great pistol. And they said, but, you know, everything can be improved. So, you know, Nick talked about, hey, out west in Fresno, it's very hot. So we all have to custom stipple our guns. and you'll notice the 2.0. We've been out now for 2 years. The 2.0 came out with much better stippling. Dare I say, trying to get closer to where our grip is. We also talked at length about the sights. Most sights are straight up and down and back and ramped in the front. And I told everybody, I said, look, we want to do something like a Novak sight so it's snag-free going in the holster. And they started laughing. I said, well, what are you laughing at? And they said, we wanted snag-free coming out of the holster, not going in. The job's to make it to that point. So that's why we're curved in the back, but straight up and down in front, so you can also rack it one-handed if you need to. So we just walked through the guns, or through a firearm, top to bottom, inside and out. So we've got custom stippling, and it even goes up. It's a little hinky here in the, hold on.
That stippling I love the stippling. It's really good, and it goes everywhere that your hands actually are.
Here I am in the lobby of the Marriott. So you can see here, it comes up where your finger will go on both sides. All the controls are ambidextrous. Magazine release, slide catch, manual thumb safety if you have it equipped that way. Here's the sight. If you can see that curved in the back. So as you're drawing, it's snag free. But if you need to rack it, here's the table. You can rack it on the cocking shelf. So we tried to build all that in. Plus we've got 2 different size back straps because, as Nick pointed out, officers come in all sorts of different sizes and shapes nowadays. And he wanted to make his officers comfortable. And then the other design requirement we had was no trigger pull on disassembly. So you just rotate that lever and the slide comes off. So we try to design things into it that, some guns have a few of them, but not all guns have all of them. So we tried to bring all of the features together and put it into one single stack 9, have it priced. MSRP right now is $499, but you'll see street price. Gosh, what a weird world it's been the last year with all the dumping of products. So prices are all over the map. We've seen street prices of $349 on up. But again, we think we've got more features, more benefits than anybody else in this category.
Yeah, I mean, just looking out at the pistol, not really handling it much. You see the grip texture, you see the front slide serrations, you see the sights, you see a lot of features that you really aren't getting for that price point, and that's what kind of attracts me to that gun.
Thank you.
You've been at the factory there recently, right? I mean, how did that go? You did a little tour of Honor Defense, right?
Yeah, last Tuesday, actually, I got to go and spent the better part of the day with them, and it was great. And one of the first things we did, we sat down and looked at some of the guns, and of course, the first thing we're like starting to pull them apart and take them apart. And there's so many things about this gun that I really like. He showed you the grip. The stippling is, to me, one of the best out of the box stippling jobs I've ever. You don't have to go get somebody to, mar your gun up and stipple it or add any grip tape. And I'm one that usually immediately is putting grip tape or something on my guns. But I love it's really, really, it's not so aggressive that it's uncomfortable, but it's aggressive enough that it does not move in your hand. It just fits. But the grip just fits in the glove of your hand. It's like a puzzle piece that goes perfectly right in the webbing of your hand, the way the back strap is, the little hump on the back strap. It just feels like it locks in there really, really well. I loved the grip. I haven't gotten to shoot one yet. That's coming soon. But I loved the way that the grip felt in my hand. I was like, oh, this is good. I didn't want to put it down. And then the other thing that I really loved as a female is that it was really easy to take apart and you didn't need any tools. And as you think about women that, maybe you're a single woman and don't have a lot of tools in the house and they get a gun and then, oh, you got to have a punch to take that out. And it's just not easy. And their gun was so easy to just take apart, and literally the inner pieces of the gun just come out like a chassis. Like it's just one piece that the whole thing comes out. So to clean it, it would be very, very simple. You can disassemble it even farther, but even just to pull that out, and you can clean the whole gun very, very easily with no tools, nothing, just your bare hands. So And an ink pen. We did use an ink pen.
Yeah, we did. We did use a tool. We used a Bic or something like that.
Yeah.
That's really all you need to disassemble the gun.
Yeah.
But I really like that for, it's a very comfortable gun for women. And I like that it was so easy to take apart. Like you said, you don't have to pull the trigger in order to take the gun apart to clean it. And I don't know if y'all saw the news story about a week and a half ago. There was in Texas, there's a range there, and somebody that works at the range apparently was cleaning a gun and had a negligent discharge that actually killed a patron. So
yeah, that wasn't ours, by the way. Just for
no, it was not an honor defense, but it
Right.
was a gun. And my guess is that they probably were, because they said he was cleaning the gun. I think probably most guns, you have to pull the trigger to take it apart. And I think he
Right.
probably was doing that step. And so you don't have to do that with the honor defense. You can just take it apart without having to pull the trigger. So I like that.
Well,
But
yeah, especially with guns in its size. We're talking about, if you guys don't, pistol on what the category it's in is with the Shield 43s. There's other popular handguns in that size category also. But you figured I own a 43 now, immediately put grip tape on it and stuff like that. Shield was ergonomic. The first one was, at least to me. And then the 2.0, when I sell that pistol to people, where they really don't like it because how aggressive the 2.0 stippling is. So for me, getting something right in the middle there that's not going to rub up against you, depending on the holster and stuff like that, I think we have I can't speak because obviously I haven't handled this gun much, but it appears to be a home run.
It was one of the first things I noticed, that the stippling is really, really good on it. It is not, like I said, it's not aggressive enough that it's going to, hurt your hands or tear your clothes. It's not that aggressive, but it's aggressive enough that literally between the stippling and the shape of the back strap of the gun, it literally just doesn't move out of the back of your hand. It just sits in there very well.
Heath, what are your thoughts? I mean, what do you got on this pistol here? I don't know if you have any experience. Have you handled one?
I have not handled one, but I am curious. The chassis part, is that similar to the SIG line, how the metal chassis and the gun is technically the firearm, the serialized number part, and all that?
Yeah, it sure is. Can you guys get a good view of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, yeah, you just take that off. And then that's the serialized part. Yeah, much similar to SIG. SIG has a pin that pops out for alignment.
Right.
We don't. And there's another chassis, couple of chassis systems now, but they're not all encapsulated, and some parts will fall off. And ours is completely encapsulated within the skeleton.
Is the is it a safe action or more single action style trigger press? And
yeah, it's striker, but we've got a striker block integrated up inside in the striker housing.
Okay.
So you have to pull the trigger to release that striker block at the same time allowing the striker to move forward. It's got to all be timed, driven by our trigger bar.
Right.
There you go. Something that popped up, I know people are going to ask about it. Seems to be,
let's hit that 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's hit it.
We actually scheduled this show before any of this news actually even broke. So let's go ahead and just throw this out there, and we're going to hear it from the man himself.
Sure.
No better way to get this one out here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sources saying that the Honor Guard pistol's not drop safe. Is there any truth to this? And if so, what does Honor Defense plan to do about it?
Well, here's what gun companies go through when we test firearms. First of all, there's industry standards for drop safety and jar off testing. And it's driven by SAMI, Sporting Arms Ammunition Manufacturers Institute, with the American Manufacturers, American National Standards Institute, and the National Institute of Justice. And they've got these standards set up that we all have to meet. No, I take that back. They're voluntary. We subjected our guns to be tested for that internally, and then also by an outside service that's approved by California. And they've only approved a handful of them. So we used one of theirs, and we passed every test. every single test. And we test on an ongoing basis as well. So when we saw the video, we saw it at the same time as everybody else. So we're investigating. What's occurring, we're not sure. And what most companies will do is they'll get their engineers internally and have them start reviewing it. We're going to do something different. We went out and hired not one outside engineering firm, not two, but we've got 3 different entities looking at it. Neither one of them know one another. But we've asked all 3 of them to go back, take guns, investigate, look at the drawings, come back to us and say, here's what we think is happening. So that's what we've got going on. We don't have the report back yet. We don't know what they're going to tell us. So I can't tell you what the next steps are going to be on that. But we're going to address it. And I want to assure you and everybody else that safety is first and foremost. We've passed every test that the industry asks for, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
So I talked with a guy from Texas a while back, and he was explaining to me how the original 320 failed this when this come about. And he said basically when you drop the gun at just the right angle, that the trigger and the mechanism is heavy enough so that it basically stays in motion as the gun stops. So that's what allows the trigger actually moves to rear under momentum. And that's what actually causes their gun to go off. So I don't know what that's worth if y'all are looking at a similar deal, but
yeah, I don't know yet. I mean, we're just not sure. We're familiar with the SIG P320. Of course, we looked into that pretty dramatically, and we noticed it when it happened. It was hard to miss it. I mean, it was everywhere. So we're not sure if it's the same situation or not. It's too early. But we've got high-speed cameras swinging into motion with carved-out slides, and we'll get pictures of everything and figure out what's going on. But I want to assure everybody we're looking into it. We're doing everything we can.
What's your trigger pull weight?
Starts off at 7 pounds.
What's your range? What's your high and low on your pistol?
We typically see it 7 to 8 when it leaves the factory. It's not a light trigger. It is not a light trigger.
It's not. I mean, I dry fired it. I like the trigger. It's a very wide trigger, and I like that. It's really comfortable on your finger the way it sits, but it's not like a revolver trigger that's, to me, almost impossible to pull, but it is a carry gun trigger, and it is heavy. To me, it's heavy enough,
Oh yeah. No, I wasn't trying to imply that it was light. I was just curious because I mean, the factory SIGs weren't that light either, but it still had that issue. So I was curious where that come into play.
Yeah. We just don't know yet, but as soon as we do, we'll make an announcement and take care of the folks that have one. SIGs was voluntary, and I think they've executed that pretty darn well, to be honest with you. So we've learned a lot by watching them.
Yeah, I think I'm throwing one more thing on this topic, then we'll move on here. But I don't know. I just happen to have a 1911, right? But let's say for some reason this drops, it goes off, or I don't know why the hell I would take a mallet to the back of this thing. It's too it's too fond of a pistol. But let's say I did, and it went off. The first thing I'm going to do is immediately call Smith & Wesson or whatever company the gun's from and let them know the issue. I'm not going to put a video out and just don't tell the company nothing and it just come as a surprise. So that's kind of like, that's the part I don't understand. It's just, I don't know, maybe there's views involved. I guess if I did break it first and then let the company know, but I can still put out a video with the company knowing. I could have been like, hey, this is happening. But let's do a video. I wanted to get millions of hits anyway. I can still do that. I don't know. But I just find it odd that if something like that happened, you won't let the company know first.
I would bet some solid money that there are other companies testing their guns because it's not a standard test.
Right.
That angle. I'll bet you there's some nervous companies out there that it just hadn't come to light yet. There's some other companies out there making guns that they happen to go off because of that.
Well, it's called abusive mishandling. And, It is, and you try to design a firearm to take into account everything that you can. You know, some guys are hitting them with hammers now. What's next? Axes or sticking screwdrivers in the back? I mean, who knows? So you try to design around it. You try and make it as safe as you can. And the industry's got some tests that have been set up, and you pass them. But you know, you get some crazy calls at times. We had a guy that called to complain because his gun fired when he pulled the trigger. And I said, "Well, you pulled the trigger?" He said, "Yeah, but the gun went off." And I said, "But you pulled the trigger?" He said, "Yeah, I pulled the trigger." I said, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "To make the gun go off." And I thought, am I on candid camera? You know, you never know. So, you know, we're dedicated to making the best single stack 9. We're dedicated to making it the safest as we can. We're looking into the issue. As soon as we've got further information, we'll put out big press releases and let everybody know what we found and what we're doing about it.
There you go. Mark Wagner here got a couple live comments here. He says, "Thanks, Gary, for coming on and addressing the issue." He also said, "I appreciate the efforts that Honor Defense has taken to figure out the problem. A fix can't be determined until the problem is diagnosed, not just identified." He also put he would like to hear Gary address the acquisition of having been informed of problems months before the video. So,
well, you know, I'm going to get into a personal debate with a certain individual on that, so I'd rather not address it. But you know, we saw the video the same time as everybody else, is all I can tell you. We didn't see it any time before that. Do firearms have accidental discharges? Sure. And do guns have issues? Well, yeah, that's why there's teams of customer service at every company. When we have an issue, we bring the gun in and we go through it. And we had one, we couldn't figure it out, and the gentleman was uncomfortable. I bought it for myself. So, you know, it's easy to sit there in the cheap seats and say that, but at the end of the day, until you see some proof, you know, the video got published. We saw it at the same time. We swung into action immediately. All we can do is follow the tests that Sammy sets out, and we follow them. Continuous test, and if we see something that's abnormal, we fix it.
All right. And what are some of the safety features of the Honor Guard pistol? Is there a trigger safety? Is there kind of like a manual lever safety, or is this all internal?
Yeah, no. Well, you can get it with or without the manual thumb safety. So, you know, we've got this set at a 4-pound audible and physical click, so you can feel it. And then also, again, as we talked about earlier, we've got the striker block on the inside near the striker. And by the way, our striker housing is made of stainless steel. Other companies make theirs out of plastic. We don't. We don't want ours moving. We don't want ours being altered or shaved or moved. So we're stainless steel. And it's machined for us by another gun company, oddly enough.
There you go. Heath, you got a question you want to throw in here?
I do. I believe I saw a claim where y'all said you make the most, one of the most accurate single stack 9mm. How do y'all mechanically? How do you set stuff up different to achieve that?
You know, that's a great question, and we didn't. We didn't. That claim really comes from Gun Test Magazine. They did a comparison of us with the G43, the Shield, and the Walther PPS, and we were more accurate than of all 4 guns. We won. So, yeah, you know, let's. You're a sheriff. You know, accuracy is in the hand. It's how good the shooter is. You know, it's it almost doesn't matter what you do. Half the people are going to say you're really accurate, and half are going to say you're horrible. I can shoot another gun better. So we've never made any claims until Gun Test Magazine came out with a scientific test and said the Honor Defense pistol is more accurate than the 43, the Shield, or the Walther PPS. So we were obviously very happy about that and excited. What we're doing to make ourselves more accurate than those guys, I have no idea. I have no idea. All I can tell you is we use top barrel makers in the country, and we're very specific about it, and they've been great to work with. So, you know, we didn't ask for that title, but we'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, selling guns for a living, you always get, like, you know, the Gen 5s and stuff like that, and people ask, are these guns accurate? And I was like, well, and I don't really know. If you put all these guns in side by side in a machine and have a machine pull the trigger on each one at 25 yards and we do some group testing, that's really the only way to test. Most people's not going to do that.
Right.
So, I mean, it's hard to answer those type of questions. It's mainly in the shooter. Right.
And you're right. Really, accuracy in a pistol is about consistency. Is it sending that bullet into the same hole every time? If it's not, then you've got, a problem. But
well, it has to do with how
accurate guns.
Too, that's why I was kind of asking if there was anything different about the way you get your gun to lock up, the barrel to lock up in the slide, and the slide lock up with the frame. All of that stuff working together as a unit.
Right.
That's it. Now, a good barrel does help, but if you have a good barrel that's sloppily fitted into a gun, it's not really going to matter a whole lot. So,
well, I will tell you one thing that we did notice on those gun test magazine results. That is, we also had more velocity in general than everybody else, and this is one of the biggest issues in firearms, and nobody wants to talk about it. But a 9mm bullet is allowed to be 0.355 inches in diameter for the length of the bullet. All right. So just set 0.355. That's the size of the peg going in the hole. The hole's supposed to have a 2-degree taper down to 0.346. So you have a big peg, small hole syndrome going on.
mm-hmm.
And so if you're not drilling dead onto the SAMI specs, you're going to have gases coming around. You're going to lose velocity,
Right.
and physics will tell you a little bit of accuracy. But when you're in a 3.8 or 3.2 inch barrel, it's all relative.
Right.
It's all relative. We've been proven to be more accurate. We'll take it. But for what these guns are designed for, all of them perform great. They're all great guns.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I don't know if there's like a standard for this size of pistol. Like, is this a standard at 25 yards or is it way closer than that? Do you have any idea?
It's really, most of the people that I know will test at 7 yards, 21 feet, because that's the quote unquote typical
self-defense range,
defensive shooting distance.
Right.
And, so that's how we looked at it, and I think Gun Test did it at some longer distances as well. But, again, they hand us the crown. We'll take it.
There you go. Yeah. There we go. We're going to head into discount corner here. We'll come back to these topics here shortly. Jen, we'll start off with you. What do you have saving people money here?
At Carbon Arms, you can save 10% with the code TSM10 at carbonarms.us on awesome shotgun caddies. There's a new shotgun match, actually a shotgun match series coming up with Strategic Match Design and Lucas Oil. So if you need some caddies for that, you should probably look at Carbon Arms. Just saying.
Boom, there you go. Heath, you got any discounts?
Yeah, Red Hill Tactical, Clevenger, all caps for your holster and magazine needs and anything on the shop there. American Defense Manufacturing, the number 3, the word gun, and then the number 10 at the end for a 10% off of everything except for combo packages. So no scope combo packages, no flashlight combo packages. And if you're interested in True Spec or Criterion barrels, hit me or Nikki up, and we will be glad to help you up. We just can't publish that. And Nikki wanted me to throw her Nikki TSM discount code out there. So,
yeah, because she's not here to. Yeah, that's fun. She must have at least skimmed through last episode. It seems. So, yeah. All right. What do I got on my end here? The folks over at Tactical Shit, I got TSM10 on their online shop, which is shop.tacticalshit.com. Saves you 10% off the entire website. If you go to their retail store, that's over in St. Peters, Missouri, and you yell TSM10 at the cashier, they will get you 10% off as well in store. The folks over at Dewey Rods, TSM15 for 15% off the entire website. That's deweyrods.com. TaranTacticalInnovations.com if you need base pads, any tricked out ARs, any tricked out Glocks, a bunch of accessories and stuff for competition. TaranTacticalInnovations.com, TSM10 for 10% off the entire website there. CLP needs, any gun cleaning needs, grease, solvent, CLP Mindset 16 for 15% off at the folks over at randclp.com. All right. Lastly here, Tactical, which is umtactical.com, TSM10 saves you 10% off there. So if you're shopping at Sears or like Macy's, wherever, put TSM10 in there. There's a good chance it might get you 10% off. All right. There you go. All right. That's saying. All right. I think we'll move on from that. Any live questions or anything that popped up? Let me double check on my end.
Yeah, hey,
I do have one.
What do you got, Gary? Let's go, Gary.
Go, Gary.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say, while you guys are walking through the accessories, just quick note for everybody. It's not widely publicized, but we're a 1.5 stack, same size tube as a shield. So the stuff from Hive, Strike, Taran Tactical that fit a shield, the base plates, the pinky extensions, those all fit the Honor Defense as well. They may not tell you that, but it does. So want to let you know about that, as well as just about every holster company has got holsters that fit us as well. And our sights are the same dovetail in front as a G43 or 42. So if you like tritium sights, night sights, night vision, XS, True Glow, they've all got sights that'll fit. So Trijicons fit like a glove. So lots of aftermarket accessories as well. And hopefully you can get them from Tactical Shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Or your favorite retailer.
Yeah, or Macy's or Sears or something.
Or
like
Macy's,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, all right.
My favorite.
There you go. Mark also puts in here, he says, I guess this puts the idea of a double stack Honor Defense on hold.
Nay, nay. Oh, nay, nay. No, because, the chassis all fit. No, not at all. In fact, let's be honest, the next natural step is double stack 9 and then 380. We get asked about 45 a lot, and yes, we have one on the drawing board, as you would expect we would. But frankly, 45 caliber is not that big of a caliber in terms of gun sales. 10, 11%, 70% or so of that is 1911s. And then you come down to 3 or 4% maybe in the non-1911 category. And there's some great pistols that are there already. And you're battling it out for a small percentage. So we don't see a big opportunity there. We have one. We're going to watch the market, see which way it turns. And, we'll go from there. But we do have that on the drawing board ready to go.
There we go. Are you guys going to be at, January's fast approaching here and the new year? Are you guys planning to be at Chacha this coming 2018? Yeah,
we'll be at Range Day. We do Range Day on Monday. And then Tuesday is one of the supplier days. We go do that. And then we'll walk it Wednesday and then back to work on Thursday.
Okay, but so you guys don't have a booth?
We do not have a booth at SHOT Show.
But you will be at Range Day, which is great, because me and Jen will be at Range Day, so I can actually shoot one of these finally.
You can, and we'll have all the models out there. We'll have the subcompact with and without a safety, with the 3.2-inch barrel. We'll have the compact with and without the manual thumb safety, with the rail, without a rail, and also the fist. We'll have them all out there for you to shoot.
Oh, there you go. Anything? I'm good on my end here. Double stack 9 will have my money tomorrow from Mark Wagner. So Mark is very excited about a double stack 9 eventually. So there you go.
Tell Mark to send me the check. Thank you, Mark.
There we go. You got at least one sold immediately from Mark. There you go.
We did have one on Facebook that you did touch on and answer most of it, but Greg was asking about accessories and aftermarket parts, what's available. You said a lot of that and what will be available in the future. But he specifically said frames, sights, and barrels. And I believe when we were there, you had a few extra barrels in the back, maybe a couple that were threaded if somebody was looking for that.
Yeah, we do have some threaded barrels. And, it's really funny because we did an email blast out to everybody. And everybody said, yeah, we want a threaded barrel. So we had 10 made up, and I think we still have 2 or 3 of them left. So we do have threaded barrels available. We've got them in stock right now if anybody wants it. A little late for Christmas, but you can still sneak one in during the holiday season if you want it. So we've got that. Sights we leave to the sight companies because there's so many variations, and you can get it from them, and they're always promoting. So sights are good, and again, holsters are great. And there is a holster company, by the way, that's handmade, and it's a gentleman named Riley Kester from Kester Farms Tack. This gentleman is retired law enforcement and military, and he does it all by hand. And if you ever want a custom holster, we've got a few of those in stock, or reach out to him, and he makes them for every gun imaginable. Just a nice gentleman, great friend to our company, and we try to help them wherever we can. Riley,
and this is all on honordefense.com direct, right?
Yes, on our online store. But for sights and holsters, we'll just link you over to the company so you can buy it there.
Boom. There we go. You just mentioned it, and it's on my list of stuff to ask you here. He says, can you explain fist frame and the benefits behind that design?
Yeah, it's the fist frame is an acronym for Firearm Integrated Standoff, and it's actually a trademark name that we've got. It was interesting. I was walking SHOT Show with Command Master Chief Slavinsky, and he was talking about how a firearm is nothing but a tool, and it's just one of the tools that someone in special operations could reach for. And so he was walking me down that path, starting from, which again, I was a rifle guy in the 70s. Now I'm walking with a gentleman with over 20 years on the teams, and he's explaining to me the different uses. And we talked about what happens when the slide comes out of battery in close quarter combat. And, he showed it to me. And actually, Britt was the one that said, if you could extend that frame out, if someone's on top of me or someone else, the slide will stay in battery. This will keep them away from pushing in on the slide. So we really did it for him. And as we went through the development, we called several other instructors around the country. And they thought it was a great idea because they have to train people to pull the firearm back if it's close quarter combat. So that was really the origins of it. It was a request from Britt.
There you go. I don't know if you guys have seen these. Can we purchase these frames separate, or does this come with the firearm? Or obviously the chassis serialized, so we can probably swap them.
Yeah, you sure can. You can buy any color frame that you'd like. We have those on our store, from acid green to we just had a well-armed woman event at our store a couple of weeks ago, and the purple was a big hit. We call that Purple Rain for us old Prince fans. And then we've also got the traditional Battleship Gray, Flat Dark Earth, OD Green, the fist frame, the long slides, the barrels, the long barrel, the short barrel. By the way, the long barrel long slide will also fit on a grip frame that's smaller. And it was originally designed for the longer frame with the rail, but we were doing a range day, and there was an instructor from a federal agency there, and he said he was shooting lights out with it, by the way. I mean, it was really impressive. And again, I work with USA Shooting. I've seen the best pistol shooters around. This guy was lights out with a new handgun, particularly small barrel. And he said, we appendix carry in the agency he works for. And he said, so I can't have the rail. So we just took the slide off, put everything in a small grip frame form right there. And so that's what he's been carrying and testing and shooting for the last 9 months. I need to get that gun back from him. But that's what he's been using and testing. So the long slide and barrel fit on any grip that we've got. But we've got the long grip, the subcompact grip, and the fist frame.
Oh, there you go. Any live there? And Heath, you wanted to throw in something that you had in there, or that was already answered?
No, I was wondering, did you, with us being concealed carry and everybody's kind of moving to the carrying a light and everything else on their concealed carry gun, you do any testing with any lights that specifically work well with your pistol?
Well, on the small one, the Crimson Trace laser guard fits. They've made one, so has Viridian for lasers. For lights on that rail, we actually see it going the other way, where your average consumer, the high speed, low drag guys are putting lights and things on it, but your average consumer doesn't. And
Right.
so we haven't really, if there's a light that fits on a rail, it fits on our rail. But we haven't really pursued it or done any packages with it yet.
Okay.
There you go. I mean, any obstacles? What was starting? Like you said, you guys are fairly new. What were the obstacles that you had to overcome in pistol development?
The biggest ones that we had, well, there were several. First of all, you have to get acceptance from the industry to show interest in buying your guns. And we met with several distributors in advance to say, hey, here's what we want to do. Talk us out of it. And all of them were very encouraging, very supportive, which has been great. Second of all, you've got to find the right business partners to make parts for you and help you with the design. And that was great. So, and you have to have the right engineers, and we think we had two of the best. So, it's a tough industry to break into. In fact, today the NSSF posted a job board and said, hey, if anybody, is looking. So I put it up on our Facebook page, and it blew up. It was almost 2,000, I think, views within several hours. But if you want to be in the industry, that's where you go, nssf.org/jobs. And that's where the industry posts the jobs, whether you're media, engineer, top machinist, sales, whatever it might be. That's a great place to go. So, but the industry doesn't let, the industry is careful. And I don't want to speak for the industry because I'm not a spokesperson. But I can tell you, there is not an industry, and I think you three have probably seen this, it's filled with the nicest people. It just is. Everybody's supportive and helpful with one another. And it's just, I cannot think of a finer industry to be in.
There you go. I mean, and I've had some other companies, like I said, working at a gun shop, you have companies that come in, sell you their product. And, recently, suppressor companies are, they're everywhere nowadays. But the problem, I don't know, I think probably one of the largest problems, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, is, you got the huge players, and this is kind of with everybody. You got the Nikes, you got the, the Reeboks, you got these guys, and you're putting out a pistol that some maybe have not heard of, or they're first hearing of it. But hey, if I can pay this, why not get this? I think, is that probably one of your largest obstacles coming in as a new company right now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you really hit it on the head. Brand awareness. The distributors would know us, the big dealers would know us, and manufacturers, we all know each other. But when it gets down to the dealer, it's tough to break through there because, let's face it, they don't have time to sit around and read magazines. I mean, they're busy working retail, and retail is a tough industry. So you got to break in. If you work at the counter, you sell what you know, and if you're carrying a Glock and someone says, well, what do you carry? You're going to say, well, gee, I carry a Glock. Let me show it to you, because you want to talk about the product that it's natural. And that's what I would do. So, that's our key challenge, building the brand awareness at the dealer, getting them comfortable with our firearms. So we just have to keep banging away at that, trying to get them to carry it. We've got some programs in place for next year to encourage them to try it or sell our guns. But then when it comes to quality and features, we think we've got everybody beat. I mean, we can put more features and benefits into our guns and sell at that price point because we are, frankly, a small custom shop. You cannot, we're as close to a custom polymer pistol as you can get. I mean, every gun is built by hand. So we're not big. Sure, we have dreams of growing, but we'll get there. But we're going to stay very focused on quality and more features, 100% American, assembled by veterans. And we'll start there and keep pushing.
And what are you doing to really advertise your pistol? I mean, I've seen it a ton on YouTube from a lot of these, these YouTube kind of gun guys, the Suches, the Hickok 45. I recently saw a video of him shooting that.
Yeah.
Is that where you're leaning to mostly, or is there other avenues there?
Well, you know, obviously I've got some gray hair. I don't know if you can see it in the orange light back here, but you know, obviously I'm not a young guy, so I grew up with print, and so you know we started there. But I think you've got to have a good balance of print and digital. So I'm looking forward to talking with you guys and learning more about how you do what you do, because I think you've got to have a good mix of digital, particularly for the younger consumer. The only people that subscribe to magazines are people that subscribe to magazines. And let's face it, that tends to be us older folks. So, and they're big into the gun industry, but the new consumers are females and the younger audience. And, you know, we've got to find a way to reach them. So we'll do it by doing a lot of digital. We'll do it by putting in some print, and also making sure that when they go into the store, that the person behind the counter is an advocate, not an obstacle. So that's our challenge. Easily said, difficult to do.
Right. I don't know. When's the last time you guys actually purchased a magazine? Now, I got, you know, NRA, Shooting Illustrated, you know, from USPSA, their magazine comes in, but I cannot remember. It has to be years, man. Years since I went to a newsstand and purchased a magazine, even if it had a gun on it. Now, hey, if the wife is shopping or something and there's a gun magazine there, I'm going to pick it up. I'll flip through it, but I probably won't purchase it, you know?
Hey, we're on the cover of Gun Magazine from FMG with a nice article by Masada Ayub. So for those of you that are out looking, buy one of those from the Publix or Kroger's. Go to Kroger's; they're gun friendly.
Yeah. That's funny because half of those things I pick up and I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah. I know, it's so funny when you go with see people you know. Oh, there's so and so again.
Yeah. I know that guy. It's not all that.
So you guys know who the good ones are and the good ones aren't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know their numbers neither. You know, I was assuming one of the biggest, I would assume Recoil magazine has been around for, you know, I don't know. That seems to be.
That was probably the last magazine I honestly bought. And it's been probably a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, everything is just, you know, search on the internet.
They stepped the game up in print because you know, most magazines, at least back in the day, there was a color section and a black and white section. And I'm sure where you ended up in the magazine was in relation to how much you paid. And then Recoil stepped the game up because their whole magazine is color. There is no black and white section. You know, and
that's a nice magazine.
Big, the quality of the magazine is really nice. And so, I mean, I want to say the last time I bought one, it was almost as much as a book, probably like $8 or $9 for a magazine, you know. So
we're going to still pursue print. It's just we've got to make sure we're doing it the right way. You know, it's
I think there's
right. 10 years ago, you went into the NRA pubs and you went into what was called Intermediate at the time to do a full page Guns and Ammo, full page American Rifleman, and there's a lot of segmentation in the category with some great publications, and we've got to find the right ones that work for us.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I think like Shooting Illustrated, I got one in the mail today, and I flip, and I must have stopped on one page, and it was a gun that I was interested in, and it's almost it was an AK-47 from Magpul edition that we have in the shop, and for some reason I don't know why I can't stand AKs. I think I should.
We're losing you, Anthony.
I'm talking, but that losing me. I don't know. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, you're locking up there for a second.
You were cutting out.
I'm cutting up. All right, yeah, it wasn't important anyway. It's kind of. But we got
trash AK talk. Nobody cares.
Yeah, no AK talk. And an IDPA bug guns thing came up in the chat here, and I believe it's completely legal in IDPA division for its size. So I mean, the Glock.
I have no idea what that concerns. So I just like.
Yeah, the Glock 19. Well, no, sorry. No, the Glock 26 is, you know, I think it's smaller than that if we're comparing it to Shields and 43s.
It's about the same. I've compared a 43 and an Honor Defense whenever I was there in the Honor Guard side by side, and they're almost exactly the same size.
Width and everything.
But you can. Yeah, the game actually, I don't know if these rules have changed. It seems like in IDPA they change every week. But I mean, when they were shooting like IDPA Bug Gun Nationals, I think the winner, who was Mike Seeklander, was using a 1911. It must have been like officer size, like right there, So you can. I'm pretty sure the honor guard, if you chose to shoot
Probably
that
like an
format,
EMP or something.
Yeah, those are the gamer guns too. The EMP4 that Springfield just lead. If you want to play, I don't know. So
Anthony, what's the barrel length on that new Springfield?
do
you know offhand?
I do not know. I would if I was to take a guess, maybe 3 1/4.
Oh, that's all. Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe it's 4. I don't know. I haven't looked into it that hard because I don't really care to play that game. Even though the EMP series is, it's a nice fine pistol to me.
It's a good carry gun.
Yeah, most people do carry. If you have a 1911 and you shoot a lot of games, they prefer to shoot that platform. A lot of people do carry. It's very popular.
I see a 9mm 1911 in my near future. So,
man, you are pulling out all the stops. You get an open shotgun, everything. Y'all must have won the lottery up there in northern South Carolina.
Open shotgun, he wants 80% Glock. I don't know what else I want. I want an AK.
You guys are killing me.
All right. There we go.
No offense. Just I shoot 1911 stuff really good. So
there we go.
Nothing against nothing else, but
now it's the nice thing about our industry, isn't it? If you find something you really like and you enjoy shooting, it's great to go enjoy it.
Right. Well, what I'd really love to have is to cut down one of my SPSs to have a double stack 2011, but I don't quite. That's some dedication and money there, because that's probably $1,000-$1,500 in custom work probably to get that done. So
yeah. No, you can just get an honor guard or something like that for like $400, $350. There you go.
There you go.
I meant to ask you, are you part of all the major distributors, RSR, Davison's? Can we all order the pistol from there?
Yeah, we're with the majority of the big ones. Obviously it's been a tumultuous year, so you kind of go up and down with some of them. But yeah, we're at RSR, Sports South. So there's we're with about I think 11 distributors right now.
There you go. All right, guys, if we're good on. I'm good on my end. Are you guys good on your end? If not, I think we can wrap this one up here.
Nothing here.
I just want to say thank you very much for having us on. We appreciate it, and just want to let everybody know we're working on everything that we can to make the best handguns out there. You'll see some new models coming out this year, and we appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you all at SHOT Show.
There we go. We got. I think we have possibly an upcoming article from Jen on some honor guard pistols. Possibly that's in the works. So stay tuned for that on the shootersmindset.com/blog on that. Also, I mean, that's all I got. We can kind of wind this one down. A shout outs here. Heath, start with you, man. What do you got?
I'm more prepared this time. I hit Nikki up while I was doing here to get the list. Criterion barrels, American Defense Manufacturing for your rifle needs, mount needs. Eagle Imports for pistols, True Spec. German Precision Optics, if you're looking for some clear glass at a reasonable price. The Outdoor Shop in York, Shop Local. Safariland, Red Hill Tactical. Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes. Stage Zero Shooting Supplies, Zero Tolerance Knives. 2A Jewels. Dangerous but Good, Tough Products, and Techwear USA is who we want to shout out to.
Oh, there we go. Jen, what do you have?
All right. Want to shout out to Land Thing Tactical for awesome rifles. They've got some new things coming out too. They have the new 6.5 Creedmoor coming out. ZT Knives, Night Force Optics, Load Up Ammunition, Sharpshooters of Augusta and Shooters of Augusta, and Grizzly Targets for some great steel, and Carbon Arms for the shotgun caddies you need for the new shotgun matches that are coming up.
Shoot open.
Were you supposed to leak that 6.5 on Lansing?
It's out. They have it
It's
out.
already? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
Gas gun?
I didn't. Because I have some stuff. The gas gun? Yeah. Are they going to be at range day or no?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to Mayan. Definitely. Thanks to Gary, man, for coming on. I know you were traveling here. You stopped at a hotel to get some Wi-Fi, man. We appreciate you coming on, man.
You bet.
And
Hey, quick shout out to everybody on Facebook. It's really funny when you start. You feel like everybody's jumping on you. You got all the Glockites and all the other fans that are just telling you, you guys are horrible. What are you doing trying to make a handgun? And we noticed about 9 months ago, our Facebook really started building. And pretty soon when somebody would criticize us, we didn't have to answer it. Some people that owned our handguns would put in the responses. So we've got a great group of folks on Facebook. If you haven't looked at it, please do. And there's also a closed group of honor defense owners. So we appreciate everything everybody does for us. And thank you very much.
I appreciate it here. Quick shout out to my end. Want to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel every Tuesday now. We're doing a new episode of the Shooter's Mindset, hopefully, at 9 p.m. Eastern. So subscribe for that. I put up videos. Put up 2 videos recently, testing some gear, shooting some competition. Shout out to folks over at Tactical Shit, Tandemkross. Also, if you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to do that. Folks over at Gear Nation and Rise Armament, who also is going to be at Range Day. They got some new things coming up, and I don't think I'm allowed to leak that until we get closer to SHOT Show time. But that'll do it for episode 201 of The Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And we're out of here.